anyị na Chineke nna nke pụrụ ihe niile. Onye ọ bụ naanị ya na-azọpụta. Onye ọ bụ naanị ya bụ okwu ya niile bụ ihe na amen. Anyị wee na-asị ezi ebube dị ngọzi na n'ụtụtụ na ịja mma na nsọpụrụ site n'ebighị ebi ma ruo n'ebighị ebi. Ise, ise, ise.
Welcome, my amazing viewers. Thank you so much for joining me on my program once again. I appreciate you wherever you are joining from. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please kindly subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell so that you're notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you so much and remain blessed. If you are joining me from Africa, Asia, Europe, America, Australia, or any part of the world, I thank you very much for your contribution. Please, each time you watch my video, go to the comment section and put down your comment. That is where we'll home. He has engaged with Enugu State Governor yesterday, and we also heard that he was in Mina, where he held talks with former presidents, former head of states, Abdulsalami Abubakar, and of course former military president Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida. One thing we can't take away from former President Olusegun Obasanjo is the fact that since he left office in 2007, he has not stayed aloof. He has been engaging the process in virtually all election cycles since 2007. You know, he has been somewhat involved. But right now, he's saying that he has no preferred candidate for 2023, and what he has is a national agenda. Let me, what do you think? Is this national agenda that former President Obasanjo is talking about?
Yeah, well, I saw that news breaking yesterday, and I was, do I say I was bemused by Obasanjo's rare and unusual economy with information and with the truth. Obasanjo, I always describe as the most untribalized, not detribalized, the most untribalized Nigerian, a nationalist to the core. It's also not surprising that he says what he has is a national agenda. In saying that what he has is a national agenda, by my rating as Obasanjo being one of about the biggest nationalists Nigeria has produced, is the fact that he needs to now tell us who is that candidate that best suits his national agenda, because of course we have about four front runners, as it were. We have the APC, the PDP, the Labour Party, and the NNPP candidate, presidential candidates. So what Obasanjo has told us is that he's looking for who best fits his national interest, his national agenda. Speculation had been rife before now that Obasanjo had outrightly endorsed former Governor Peter Obi of the Labour Party. Then we saw where Atiku also visited him, where they met at the Ikoyi Staff Club, and Obasanjo was full of ululation for the experience of former Vice President, his vice at that time, Atiku Abubakar, who is of the PDP. Then, of course, when Bola Ahmed Tinubu also visited of the APC, you could see that, in fact, Obasanjo did say at that meeting when Tinubu visited him at home that he is retired, he's an elder statesman, that's the role he plays, that if you are looking for a formidable politician, you go to Bodilon. So Obasanjo has been like that elder, that old man who is open to receiving as many candidates as desire to visit him. But he's made the message that it's also within that is economy with the truth or with information. He's made a statement that will wake the media up into looking at the credentials of the four front runners, especially to see who has that national outlook to fit in the national agenda of Obasanjo. So we cannot. We will wait for him. Campaigns will soon be flagging off, and maybe then it will be clearer. But we know as a fact that Chief Olusegun Obasanjo has never been one to shy away from taking a position. I just imagine for strategic reasons, he's decided to hold on to announcing specifically whose interest he serves. And it will be interesting eventually to see him unfold who best suits the national agenda that he desires to a new president to take over and achieve for him.
All right, Chris, as follow-up to, the comments of former President Olusegun Obasanjo and these meetings that we have seen in the last 1 week, we also saw the London meeting where the same OBJ met with Governor of Rivers State, Governor Nyesom Wike. Atiku met with Governor Nyesom Wike. Tinubu also met with Governor Nyesom Wike. All of these, very big political stalwarts have had meetings. And of course, we also saw the report that Governor Wike has suddenly become, the political bride that everyone needs to woo. Today, these stories are also not off the papers. We're still seeing on the front page of Tribune, front page of Leadership, talking about the crisis in the PDP and how to resolve it. So all of these meetings, put it side by side, by the quest to remove national chairman of the party, Ayu, from his seat.
Well, starting off with Chief Olusegun Obasanjo. After the 2015 presidential election, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo said that he's quitting politics and partisan politics, and he no longer belongs to any political party. And what happened is that since then, we don't see him identify with any single political party, either the APC, PDP, or whichever one one think about. He has been receiving various presidential candidates, just like Lemmy said, in his home, and in his Abeokuta home. And one we believe that if you say you have retired from politics, then you take a backseat. We have seen so many people that say they retired from politics and they've taken back. You can see former President Goodluck Jonathan. All he does is just go on international missions. We've seen IBB, we've seen Abisalami Abubakar. They don't participate fully. But it's obvious that former President Olusegun Obasanjo cannot do without politics from what we have seen. And when he says he doesn't have any prepared candidate but a common agenda for Nigeria, I don't know what he meant. Yesterday he was in Niger State. From there he moved to Enugu State. I saw him with the governor of Enugu State, Ugwayi, yesterday. So I wouldn't know what transferred. But the part is that it's obvious that politics is Obasanjo's politics. Then back to the issue of PDP and Wike. Personally, I just feel that Wike is overstretching his luck, and I have to continue to say that there is no reason not to believe that what Wike is doing is complete anti-party activities. No matter how you look at it, no matter how genuine his grievances are, but he's engaging in serious political political activities. Because if you are going, you are a governor of and you are going around obnobbing with all sorts of people from other political parties and making all sorts of statements which is detrimental to the fortune of your own party, PDP. So it's obvious that that is anti-party, and it's just unfortunate that also PDP does not have the will to be able to deal with these issues and share with the issue of Wike or whatever best reason known to them. But I hope that they'll be able to resolve the crisis within the party so that they can get themselves ready for the election coming up in the next few months. You can see that they've not even constituted their presidential campaign committee, unlike the APC that have already started rolling out some of their names, even the Labour Party. But it will get to a point where the PDP has to take a decision, whether to move ahead without Wike or try to accommodate him. But for now, what Wike is doing, sincerely, is serious anti-party. He said it that if he loses the election, that he's going to support any candidate or party at the party. He said he's a strong member of the party. Now he's now talking about rescuing Nigeria, and he has not pitched his tent with anybody. That to me is quite unfortunate, and that does not speak well of a man of his caliber, who has over the years been very, very supportive of the opposition party, even when others left the party. Whatever his grievances, I think he should calm down now and just give the party the opportunity to resolve it, as PDP is in serious trouble come 2023.
All right, thank you, Chris, for those thoughts. We'll come back to you before we round off this segment, but let's talk to Lemmy right now. Obasanjo is talking about a national agenda. Of course, Governor Wike is also talking about a national interest at this point in time beyond politics. Several of our leaders are also talking about the same national interest. But for us to have, a national agenda promulgated and promoted, we need to have a leader that can, ensure that happens. And how do we get that leader? We must ensure that the next elections or cycle of elections are free, fair, and credible. But there are concerns, in some papers this morning that CSOs are rejecting the REC nominees, citing partisanship, corruption as reasons for rejecting INEC REC nominees, says Section 156 sub 1A of the 1999 Constitution prohibits partisanship in such appointment. I'm sure you will recall that concerns were also raised when an aide to President Muhammadu Buhari, Loretta Onoche, was nominated as INEC commissioner, which was rejected by the Senate. Concerns were also raised by some groups about the nomination of Professor Gumus in Biafra State at that time. So what do you make of this? Concerns currently are being raised by the CSOs over the REC nominees.
Okay, in responding to that, let me take time out to say that as Chief Olusegun Obasanjo talks about a national agenda, and our leaders, the elder statesmen, people of note and worth, are obnobbing with Obasanjo and discussing the future of the country, and yet Chief Obasanjo and the rest of them have not thought that one key cardinal point of the national agenda is education of our youth. And students have been on strike at home because of ASU strike for over 6 months, going on the 7th month. That is a worry that we actually leave other very serious aspects of our future, of our national agenda, and do all politicking. Be that as it may, let's now link this up to the concerns of civil society organizations and especially other Nigerians of goodwill who are paying close attention to this. The fact that the president and commander-in-chief would again, after doing the inglorious attempt to get Loretta Onoche, his aide, to become a member of the one of the regs, he's done this again, and it speaks to how much there's been a dip in the phantom integrity that had always been ascribed to President Buhari. Because you look at it, the position of resident electoral commissioner, anybody at all identified or who should be associated with INEC, should be that of non-partisanship. Section 156 sub 1 of the Constitution talks about the fact that the person must not have party affiliations. The Professor Lawal in Sokoto ran on the ticket of APC for governorship in Sokoto. We have the link of the Ebonyi, the candidate he has nominated from Ebonyi also, who is directly linked to APC. So we wonder why at a time like this, where the process has been so improved upon, where Nigerians are beginning to have renewed faith in the electoral process based on the incremental changes and improvements through the electoral laws, you would still have a President Muhammadu Buhari cast aspersion on the progress that has been made by attempting to bring in people he should not. It's not supposed to be a debate we should have, especially given the fact that the president continues to tell you one thing and do the other. He tells you about how he craves credible election. This is a president who ran as a candidate 3 times and lost. In the famous words of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he said, "Olulele meta." Okay, he failed woefully, and he blamed it on the electoral process lacking integrity. He blamed it on rigging and all sorts of electoral malfeasance. Now, through a President Goodluck Jonathan, the process was smoothened out, and he defeated an incumbent president because the incumbent president also allowed the process to be free and fair. We didn't have controversies about appointment of INEC officials in the time of Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. Then a man who rode to power on the bastion of a phantom integrity that Nigerians were all seduced into thinking Buhari was, has increasingly shown us that there is a major deficit of integrity when it comes to how he's running the electoral process. We had the Loretta Onoche debacle. After that, if Buhari had good intention and good faith after the Loretta Onoche's case, and you would recall that they found a way to deal with the Loretta Onoche case, and in the arrogance of the presidency, they made it seem like it was not the agitation of civil society that made them drop her. They said they made a certain excuse that Loretta was dropped because Delta also already had a representative. They did not go to the issue of the eligibility, the propriety of even nominating her. Now the president has come back with 4 people who should not at all appear on the nomination list. This is really very saddening. However, I'm glad that the civil society has taken this up, and I hope that the media will continually help to mount this pressure, because we need a new Nigeria. We need a Nigeria where people will go to the polls, and Nigerians who are to cast their votes will have the confidence that their votes will count. And the process of rigging also has to do with the kind of nomination, the quality of resident electoral commissioners that you appoint. No matter how good the laws are, if you have operators of the law who are compromised, then the law is said to be an axe. They will mess up the process. But I'm sure that Nigerians, the citizenry, there's a huge level of citizens' participation beyond the civil society organizations. I always tell Nigerians that the biggest office, the most influential office, is the office of the citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Right.
And we must wield our authority to reclaim our country back from all of those people who have held us hostage and put the Nigerian economy, put the Nigerian educational system in coma. And we need somebody who will, like Obasanjo says, fit the national agenda. And to fit the national agenda, we must have people who have track record. Remember, all of these people, most of these people, we probably will find one among the 4 major national presidential candidates who had to school his own kids in Nigeria. Most of them are not speaking today about the educational sector. How can you be talking about meetings and lobbying, and we keep talking about the Wike issue, we keep talking about Tinubu and Muslim ticket? None of these people have waded into the educational crisis, which shows again that we are probably also in trouble in 2023. Because if nobody is speaking about the ASU strike among the 4 major candidates, then we must really rethink the propriety of their aspiration to be president. There are other candidates there. I don't want to begin to single out names, but perhaps we will think out of the box and look beyond them, because I haven't seen any strong statement made by any 4 of them about the ASU strike, because all of them have their words abroad having a good time.
All right, Chris, still staying on the issue of the president's appointment of Rex, are you concerned as well, that these appointments will affect the now electoral act implementation during the 2023 general elections? Or are you hopeful that there are still quite a number of, Rex with men and women of integrity who will do right by Nigerians come 2023?
When you talk of INEC, my mind goes to one single individual, and that name is Mike Ogini, the former INEC boss in Akwa Ibom State, who has done a wonderful job. But unfortunately, Mike has retired from the system. That is a man of integrity. That is a man you can, at any given point in time, you will be sure that he will deliver. I can't say that of other electoral officers, especially those being appointed by the president. And one thing I continue to believe is, the president, to my personal opinion, it is my personal opinion, I don't think the president is aware of some of these appointments. Because if he's aware, I see no reason how he can approve this. I just believe that some people just come up with names and just send it out. I want to give the president the benefit of the doubt, but if he's aware and is going through this route, then we're in trouble. But let us even leave at that. That is just the first point. The second point is that these INEC officials will be screened by the National Assembly. And you now ask yourself, you will hope and believe that the National Assembly will do the needful when it comes to screening those that are found to be partisan in nature will not and must not be allowed to scale through. But do we have a National Assembly that have the capacity, that have the power, and they have the will and the zeal and the interest of Nigerians at heart to make sure that most of these people that are seen to be partisan are screened out? I agree with you. We saw what during the Onoche screening, she almost made it, if not for that was that somebody in Delta State, where she's supposed to represent, still within the saddle, and they can't have another person. But that is our rule. That in itself, if we allow this to go, then it's going to give a lot of problem to INEC on the credibility of the forthcoming election. Because when you have people from a particular party who are supposed to be interested parties in the election coming up as being umpires, then it becomes so difficult. But let's take it a bit further. My challenge and my problem is that INEC use most of the lecturers from the universities. You come to realize that those that supervises this election are mostly vice chancellors and lecturers from the various universities in Nigeria. Now ASU is on strike, has been on strike for going to 7 months. They've been on strike within the past, since 2015, they've been on strike for about 800 days or thereabout. How credible will these people be able to do their job if they are on strike and if they are in disagreement with the federal government when it comes to issues of their salaries, issues of concerning the university system in Nigeria? Until we'll be able to make sure that this issue of ASU is resolved effectively, I don't know how INEC is going to make use of most of these university lecturers come 2023. I don't know how they can give their best, knowing fully well that their interest is not well protected. So it's a mixed bag for me. And I believe that those in charge be able to look at the concern of the civil societies and make sure that most of these names that have been put there, about 4 of them or thereabout, do.
Thank you so much for your patience to watch from the beginning to the end. I hope you have learned something from the video you have just watched. The video you have just watched is to bring information to your doorstep and for educational purpose. It is not to demonize anybody. Let us watch continuously and see who can be able to make a sense out of every nonsense we are seeing. We must continue. We move. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter what they say. They will kill us. We will kill them. At the end of the day, Biafra is here. Thank you for watching. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please kindly subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell so that you're notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you and remember blessed. Bye-bye. See you again.